Under the bright lights of Hollywood, we've got a massive Tag Team Championship match, but also a very sad departure from the WWE. It's SmackDown from November 4th, 2005. But why are we doing this show, Piggy?
It's Christian's first last match in WWE.
Yes, so the original exodus of Christian, in about 2 weeks' time, in fact, just over a week's time, he will be in TNA. He left WWE at this point because he felt like they were not pushing him appropriately, or there wasn't really any upward mobility for him. But we will talk about that during his match. We've also got a big Tag Team Championship match, one of Eddie Guerrero's last ever matches in WWE, as he teams with Batista to take on the team of M&M. And we've also got a very weird matchup that comes straight from the 80s in Roddy Piper versus Bob Orton. Yes, you heard that right on this SmackDown in 2005, but we'll get to that in a moment. First of all, the nostalgia. What was the wrestling video, not the wrestling video game, what should we do first? The figures? What the figures are out around this time?
Well, I couldn't get ringside, and I'm not checking Wrestling Superstore, but it would have been Ruthless Aggression about series 7, 8, maybe 10. But
Yeah.
you're so unprepared for this segment.
I know, it's alright. But then again, like, I probably bought all these figures when I was a kid. These were all the ones that were out when I was buying toys or when I was first getting into wrestling. So I think there was like a... I know my friend had a Tatanka, but that's probably like a couple months after this because I think he came back to WWE because... Didn't they think they were wanting to hire Masato Tanaka? Isn't that the story? And they accidentally hired Tatanka.
I don't know, but the only story I know where they accidentally hired someone is when they hired the wrong... What was the wrestler's name?
Zach Gowen.
Bloody hell. Zach Gowen, yeah. They hired the wrong one.
That is such a strange thing for like a massive company to do, to have like, oh, just sign the guy with one leg, and they don't even do any research. They just try and find the first person. But then again, the guy that was signed must have been gutted that it wasn't that he didn't get the contract in the end.
That's fact, because it was all free. There wasn't really emails. Do you imagine getting that fact? We've hired you. Welcome to WWE. And then 2 weeks later, sorry, we hired the wrong Zach Gowen. We apologise sincerely.
Oops.
Fuck you.
My bad. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah, so I think Deluxe Aggression would have been near around this time as well. So, and we kind of did cover it before in an episode, I think around...
We did check episode 20 and we have pretty much covered it. TNA Impact figures are coming out around this time. A line that's way ahead of its time. I know I talked about it before on episode 20. I think it was episode 20. But like, if everything goes to a plan, and I don't know if Ferg will do his special editing skills, but if everything goes to plan and someone doesn't buy it before me, I will be unboxing a TNA Marvel job lot on this channel if everything goes to a plan. Because to me, except for the AEW figures, TNA Marvel figures were way ahead of its time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In terms of like the way the joints were and everything, and I swear it's like every episode we gush about these TNA Marvel figures, but they are really, really good. You know, you still see them in pick feds today.
Yeah, well, you only see the small Joe who's extremely fat and bulky.
Buff would be the word. He's a good figure to animate with and to film with because they're so poseable. And although I will say that the Ruthless Aggression figures did definitely improve a lot around this time too. I know the scale and stuff like that wasn't perfect, but I know 2005 was when they started to pick up in quality, like 04, 05, so yeah, interesting. As for the video game, I think SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 is going to be released soon.
Fun fact, that game does not age well.
Oh no, it does not, does it? What, is it the one with Eddie in the casket?
Yep.
Yeah, and they did the 2007 one as well is a bit foreshadowy too, with Benoit and Undertaker being like
your family will have nothing left once the inevitable occurs,
and it'll be because of you. And so, but then again, I really enjoy. I think a lot of people think that the 2006 season mode is the best one.
They do. Again, in Japan, this was called Exciting Pro Wrestling 7. Fun fact, so...
Which Ukes, I imagine, was still not happy about after all these years.
Probably not.
No. Did you ever play 2006?
I think I played it on the PSP.
Oh, yeah, it
Not
was a good
PSP,
one.
I played it on the PlayStation Portal. I played it weak.
Oh, yeah.
I totally did emulate it. I totally played it.
Allegedly, yeah. That's cool. But I never was really, because I was on, my first game was 2007 that I bought when it was new. So I went back and played 2006 years later, and the control system just wasn't vibing with me. I couldn't figure it out. I was way more into the newer control system that they had in the 0809 type series. So yeah, I never really got into it. Although the GM mode was a nice addition, I think, to that game, which was very fondly remembered. And hopefully they bring it back more as the years go on. I know they brought it back in 2K22. I assume it's in 2K23, but hopefully they build on that. Yeah. So that was the video game.
I do want to say something. Fun fact for people who want to know, I think 06 is the one where Christian has his inaccurate tights, because Christian basically went, well, you're not going to use me. TNA is going to use me, so I can't really give you the rights to my designs, can I? Unless you're going to pay me extra.
Oh, damn, I didn't know that.
I think that's not the true story. I don't know why he doesn't have why he has inaccurate tights.
That's a theory. It's just a theory, but yeah, that's still interesting, because I know he wanted to copyright all his stuff. He couldn't get Captain Charisma, but he did get the Instant Classic at least, because I know he wanted to use it in WWE and stuff. So yeah, a lot of trademark copyright issues going on there. And as for the competition, or lack thereof at this time, well, TNA's popping, but what comparisons do you have?
I forgot to get the results for TNA again. I came on prepared for this. But around this time, they're moving to Spike TV, or on Spike TV, and they have Samoa Joe, who has just recently debuted in 05, which we said in episode 21. He says he's a TNA original, but he came in 05, which is not true. You're not a TNA original.
I would argue that it was still fresh, though. Like, in terms of, like, original guys, like, in terms of, like, their national kind of exposure when they went onto Spike, that's what they kind of refer to. I mean, you could more of an ROH original, if anything, but, you know, we can get into semantics all day. And, like, I think Joe, why WWE didn't sign Joe at this time is baffling, because it seems like he'd be the type of guy that they would, like, love, you know?
Yeah, maybe he wouldn't have bumped on the stairs.
Oh yeah, like an idiot. Why he did that, I don't know, but yeah, that's I think we'll get around to that. We're doing Bound for Glory, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we'll do that.
For people who don't know, we're pulling behind the curtain. We're pulling the curtain behind. We're recording this before not Bound for Glory, or
lockdown.
Before lockdown,
which was last
week. Yeah, just because something sad is on this episode. Well, it's not sad, it's just what happens around this time is very sad. So we kind of want to get the sadness out of the way before we can talk about possibly one of the best matches TNA ever put on.
But I think we've got one of the best matches WWE ever put on tonight with Bob Orton and Roddy Piper, but we'll get round to that. Hell yeah.
Oh, five-star classic.
Yeah, so SmackDown tonight, it's November 4th, 2005, Staples Center, Los Angeles. They actually had WrestleMania earlier in the year at the same arena, so obviously Michael Cole and Taz on commentary. Hollywood, we open up in the big Hollywood lights and everything. So this past Tuesday was Taboo Tuesday, so I don't know when this was taped, because usually they tape on the Tuesday, but they have people here tonight who are at Taboo Tuesday, so it's kind of confusing, but we'll see.
Is this the Cowboy Tuesday where Vince wanted to bring in Steve Austin to lose the Jonathan Coachman, Vader, and someone else?
Goldust, yeah, and they ended up being Batista instead. What a weird time. Batista versus Vader, Goldust, and Jonathan Coachman. What the hell are they thinking?
Well, Batista versus Vader would have been a great match itself.
In it, yeah. Why they went all this comedy route and brought in Goldust and it's such a weird mix of guys. And then Vader falls on his ass on the Raw before as well. So.
Yeah, it's so weird. This is like, it's so weird to say, but like 05 is such a weird time in wrestling.
It is, because you've got Heidenreich and Road Warrior Animal as tag team champions not long before this. and so many weird combinations. Like, it still feels weird to see Christian in the company at this time, even though obviously he's been there for a while, but like, you don't associate him with this kind of late Ruthless Aggression era, if you see what I mean. So to see him here is weird. To see kind of face Eddie, but in the kind of heel look that he's got as well is weird. And yeah, like a lot of, it's a transitional time, and Bischoff as well with the shaved white hair and everything. I'm not gonna lie, I love this time period, but I know watching it back is completely different to experiencing it when you're a kid, you know.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's a very weird time in wrestling. And not because of the talent involved. It's just so weird watching SmackDown around this time, because you know what's going to happen in a few weeks. Like, you're just waiting for... Like, I understand that's very dark to say, but like, you're kind of watching SmackDown and you're like, oh no, it's coming soon, isn't it?
Yeah, literally. What I was thinking throughout this as well was, like, it is sad, and you can't help but look in hindsight at it in like sad eyes, because it's like, you know, they're clearly building towards something with this is completely beyond the personal stuff, but the storyline, which we will get to later on tonight, basically, because we can talk about it now just so we get the negativity out of the way, but basically they've got a storyline where Eddie, you know, he had this massive heel run with Rey Mysterio, then he was kind of being slightly face and trying to lure Batista into a false sense of security, so Eddie and Batista are mates, but Batista doesn't really trust Eddie, but then he's slowly warming to him, and they're mates, and but Eddie really wants the World Championship, and I think the night he died, or the night they filmed the tribute show to him, he was supposed to win the world title from Batista, so Batista could get time off, and then Eddie would go on like a heel run again, and then end up facing, I think they pitched Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 22, so... Yeah, a lot of big things are in the works for him. Like, he was going to be pushed... Like, if you thought he was pushed big in 04, like, he was going to be pushed even more in 06, it would have seemed. So, you know, aside from all the personal tragedy, just, like, from a show standpoint, it's really, like, gutting that we didn't see it. But obviously, like, the personal side of it is just really sad that he's no longer with us.
And you know what's even more sad? And I understand people are like, no, fuck Benoit. But it's just to see the sudden change in Benoit. Like, I understand he has his own demons, but it's so weird seeing him where I understand he never smiled in wrestling unless he was in the Four Horsemen. He never smiled, even when he won the title. But it's so, you can just see that something's gone the minute his friend is gone. You can just see the lights are gone off, and he's just working through it.
It's really creepy. Yeah.
It's just so sad. And I feel so sorry for the people who were close to Eddie. And then basically Vince was like, well, Eddie's dead. I know that you're attending his funeral. But we have to go to France and, you know, work a few matches, make the money. Snap, come on.
Off to Birmingham with you. Yeah, it's sad because, like, I think they did postpone a couple of the shows, but not completely, like, only by, like, a week or something like that. So, yeah, the fact that they had to, like, just push through this, like, both tribute shows were filmed in one evening, I believe. So, yeah, literally one show, boom, tribute to Eddie, done, get back on the road, and, you know, even if it was a low-card wrestler that people liked, you know, that's still hard enough. But, you know, the fact it's someone so high-profile, and then you've got all these eyes on WWE, and, like, you know, you're under way more scrutiny. It's just, yeah, such pressure. And we'll kind of talk about it in the first match as well. But first of all, we'll say that Eminem arrived because they're, you know, Hollywood. I love Eminem. I don't know about you.
Oh, I don't mind Eminem. The only thing I remember from Eminem is Joey Mercury smashed face when was it Jeff Hardy who accidentally broke his nose?
Yeah, smashing the ladder in him and messing up his face big style. Like, yeah.
Well, I'm actually going to take a playbook out of America's book. It wasn't Jeff Hardy who broke it. It was the ladder.
True. Or Matt Hardy because he was holding his face there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So This is pre-ladder smash in the face. That's a year later. But yeah, so Joey Mercury, Nitro, and Melina, they're outside on the red carpet. I like this. And also, Teddy Long, best GM ever. What do you think?
He's up there with... he's going to be a very controversial one. He's up there with Vince Russo and Jim Cornette in TNA.
Maybe Cornette, not Russo.
I love Vince Russo on WCW. Even though I shit on WCW every chance I get, I loved Vince Russo on WCW because he was just like, bro, I've got this idea, bro. I've got this amazing idea, bro. You know how I'm not a wrestler? Yes, bro. Just hear me out, Jared. Just hear me out. How about this, bro? How about this? How about I win the world title and look like a complete clown? I know, amazing idea, right? Amazing idea.
The room falls silent. The room
Great
falls
idea,
silent and just in shock and horror. But yeah, no, I can kind of see where you're going with Cornette. But yeah, Teddy Long. It's just nice at this time to have a face general manager, especially as a kid. You want the heels to be held accountable for their actions, and having Teddy Long there as the figurehead, especially when I started watching like 06, 07, Teddy Long, you know, if a heel was acting up, boom, you go one-on-one The Undertaker. You know, two teams can't get along, boom, tag team match player. Like, simple booking. I know people might find it repetitive, but I ate that shit up as a kid. Loved it.
Can I just say that, have you ever listened to bring it back to Russo for one more second, have you ever listened to his WCW theme?
Yeah, because it goes like, ding, ding. Isn't it like a rip-off or something?
It's a rip-off of Black Sabbath's Iron Man.
Yes, it is. Oh my god, it is. Yeah, that's it.
I am Vince Russo.
Vince Russo.
As he walked this land, he was on a journey to squash Goldberg. He didn't like anyone. He put himself over all the time. Brett was in a desert for some unknown reason.
We're going to have to do WCW 2000 to satiate your taste.
We have to do the one where Bret's in a desert.
I love that show. That's one of my favourite shows of any programme. I know exactly which one it is as well. So, yeah.
Why was he in a desert for Goldberg?
It's like one of them old cowboy movies. Well, let's not talk about Bret Hart. We'll save it for that review when we eventually do it. So Eminem arrive outside. Teddy Long says, hey, you cheated last week. Maybe you should actually defend those titles. And they're like, oh, fine. Against Eddie Guerrero and the world champion Batista. Woo! And then we get into the intro. Best SmackDown intro ever, baby. Well, actually, no, second, because I like the 2007 one, when they got the cartoon faces.
Oh, I love that. I loved cartoon Benoit's face.
I will say as well, or Finlay as well in that one looks horrible.
What you say? Finlay's one?
Finlay's one, yeah, looks creepy.
It looks so shit.
Yeah, I mean, it is shit, but I love it still. And I will say as well, because this intro is changed after Eddie's death, not just because Eddie died, but there's like a bunch of talent who leave and come in as well. So I know on this show there were loads of images, video clips that they use for the next intro. For instance, I think JBL throwing Rey Mysterio is used. I think that Randy Orton staring into the camera is used. And there's and a couple other ones as well. Benoit doing the throat taunt as well is used in an upcoming intro. So they take a lot of images, stills from this show for the future intro. So yeah, we get our opening contest. It's Rey Mysterio and Matt Hardy taking on Christian and JBL. Hardcore Holly's the guest referee. Before we get into talking about Christian, I'll tell you what is happening with Hardcore Holly at the moment. So I think these 5 guys were supposed to be options for Taboo Tuesday. So there was a vote, basically, pick 2 SmackDown superstars to face Edge and Chris Masters. I think it ended up being Snitsky in the end. So they picked Mysterio and Hardy. So they're basically having a big tag here with Holly as the referee because he's injured. He's got a staph infection in his elbow. I think he suffered it at No Mercy, and I read his book, and he says, yeah, so they kept me on TV. They said they were going to fly me, and Holly was like, I think I'm really hurt. I think I should get a second opinion. And the doctors were like, oh, no, you'll be fine. Go fly. And then he ended up, I think he flew to Europe. He ended up getting sick, came back, had his elbow checked out, and apparently his infection was so bad he could have died. And how anyone would let him on a plane was insane. Or something to that effect. So, yeah, having Holly still on TV here is like just part of the fact that WWE's doctors at the time were very not exactly the best, I guess. But yeah, that's the story there. So,
I loved the WWE doctors. What was that doctor that got charged for supplying the drugs to wrestlers?
Chris Amos, not Amos. Chris something with put a Z-Pack on it.
Yeah, I love that doctor who's like, look, Edge, I understand you want something to save your elbow. How about these paracetamols? Just pop a paracetamol. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Put a plaster on it and have a lollipop. You'll be alright.
Benoit, I know you have a broken neck, but you know what you need? More steroids.
Mate, the week before this was when Benoit screwed up his neck big time because he.
Is this 2 weeks after that infamous spot where he flies through the middle rope and he's supposed to land on the table, but whatever way he does it, he just absolutely smashes his ribs against the table.
He corkscrews in midair, basically does almost like a front flip and hits his back on the table, which, yeah, we'll get to it later because Booker T shows it, but yeah, Jesus. It not a good time for injuries here. So yeah, this is Christian's last match, and he's going to go to TNA, so yeah, thoughts on Christian's, because this is the first part of the mini arc, the bit where Christian leaves WWE and starts TNA. So, what do you think about Christian here? Where do you think he could have gone in WWE? What they should have done with him had he stayed?
I don't know what they could have done had he stayed, because he was in a roster where he wasn't going to be pushed, because the stars of the future were not. It's kind of like modern day where the stars are not really important. Like, for instance, WWE have this method where only one star is important, the rest we build around, but they're not as important. Like Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins in modern day. So like in 2005 and 6, then these stars the company was building around, like Edge, Orton, again Benoit, because technically he was considered a big star, even though he was in the mid card. Christian would have been one of them stars, in my opinion, where the company wouldn't have put him in the main event, but he would have kind of been like Benoit, where he would have been a big star, a small pond, floating around all the tadpoles, while Edge wins world titles, same with Randy Orton.
Yeah, like a workhorse kind of guy.
Yeah.
Forever mid-card, unfortunately, which, disagree with that, because obviously TNA shows he can be a main event player, even in his second run in WWE. I thought there were moments there where he could have been tippy top. I mean, obviously Orton did, but he could have been Christian versus Orton, I should say, that feud. But Christian could have gone on and done even more from there. So at least we get to hear Waterproof Blonde's version of If You Close Your Eyes just one last time, and it's a beauty. It's got the big C coming out, does to the peeps. There's still fans, there's still peeps in Los Angeles. There's still big signs for him and everything. So make of that what you will. And so this match is fine. It is quite it's not really a nothing match, so to speak, but it's your standard tag match, really. JBL and Christian getting the heat on Matt Hardy, and then Ray comes in, springboard Rana, JBL and Christian then bullying Ray and Matt basically throughout the match. Then Matt Hardy comes in, cleans house, and bear in mind as well, this is shortly after Matt Hardy's feud with Edge. and he's been drafted to SmackDown, and now he's kind of stuck in the mid-card again for him. And then this is also 2 weeks before you said Matt Hardy refusing to bump for Undertaker at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I love that. I love that where it's like, look, it's like that scene in the diner where he's just sat there scoffing on chips, and Vince is like, look, man, you'll have to take the bump. And Matt's just scoffing the chips, and he's like, no, man, I'm not taking the bump, man. And Vince is like, look, I'll fire you. And he's like, you can fire me, but I'm not taking the bump.
I ain't taking the bump, yeah.
He's just scoffing on the chips. His brother sat in the corner after, like, swanton bombing a base.
Yo, that was around this time. That was around this time too. That was only like 2 weeks before this. He did the best swanton ever from the TNA stage onto Abyss, which was in every Jeff Hardy tribute package on YouTube in 2008. Oh, love it. So Matt Hardy, it basically ends when Christian's arguing with Hardcore Holly, and Holly then basically says, screw you, Alabama Slam, with one arm, one good arm anyway. Matt, twist of fate, Christian is pinned, JBL just walks off and leaves him, but they don't revisit it because this is Christian's last match in WWE until 2009 when he returns to ECW to a thunderous ovation of it's Christian.
Yeah, we'll probably get on to that when he returns.
Oh, we will.
I don't know if we will. I'll have a look at the episode schedule, see will we get into it.
We can absolutely watch the segment if not anyway, but yeah, Christian's last match, what did you think of this one?
It was an alright match. Not much to say. It was a SmackDown match to get the fans excited in the opener.
Yeah, I mean, getting Rey Mysterio and Matt Hardy on the same team, two big baby faces, and Christian's a good heel, as is JBL, so I thought it was a fine opener. Didn't really mean anything of value other than Christian being his last match. Quite uneventful, but to be fair to him, I don't know if it was the day this was taped was his last night under contract, so yeah, that's when he left. And yeah, he'd end up going to TNA at the next pay-per-view, Genesis, so not even like barely a fortnight had passed before Christian was already in TNA and already made out to be a massive deal, which if you're looking at Christian here, not going to lie, it does seem a bit weird to make Christian this massive deal in TNA, but it would prove to pay off, as we will find out. So Teddy Long's backstage as well, waiting for Eric Bischoff because they've got a score to settle. This is the start of the Raw versus SmackDown feud in 2005. The only time I think that Raw versus SmackDown has been interesting.
Yeah. Wasn't Eddie supposed to be a part of that team?
Yeah, so he qualified, and then yeah, it would have been Eddie on that team, and that's when they would have teased Eddie versus Shawn. They would have had them in that match together. So that's what would have happened there, but obviously didn't happen. So yeah, Raw and SmackDown, they have a great feud in the next couple of weeks as well, where they do the big parking lot brawl. They do the big brawl in the UK as well, and yeah, there's some exciting stuff. I'd love to watch Survivor Series again for this one day, and I don't know what we do it as, maybe like brand wars or something. But yeah, so next up, Booker T's out here, and it looks like he's just turned heel because the fans are not digging Booker T at all. I just regurgitated my hatred of Booker T because he sees a lot of suckers around here. They're all suckers. Sharmell basically has been doing Booker T's bidding, seemingly behind his back, but as it turns out, Booker knew what Sharmell was doing this whole time, and Sharmell was basically helping Booker T to win all his matches against a variety of opponents like Rey Mysterio and Chris Benoit. We have a lot of clips, there's a lot of exposition in this promo, and they had a fake apology last week where then it was a massive swerve and Booker T blindsided Chris Benoit, and we also get a clip of Benoit flying through the ropes and whacking his tailbone on the announce table, which I think was part of the reason he took time off after Judgment Day 06, I want to say. But yeah, it's a very nasty injury. They show it in all the Don't Try This at Homes. So then Teddy Long comes... Yeah, of course.
Can I just say, Benoit, I understand people have his opinions. But he took, in my opinion, two of the worst bumps ever in wrestling. Like, he took, like, I understand people are going to say Mick Foley throwing off the cell was much worse. But he literally took a chair shot right to the face that he couldn't protect from Chris Jericho at the 01 Rumble. And then in 05, he literally batters his ribs and back against the table.
I'm almost confused as to how he managed to over-rotate that much and do it, because I can see the gif in my head of him smacking his back on it, and yeah, so he continued the match after that, I assume, which is insane, because I always assumed that they just would have stopped it right there, but no, it's incredible. And yeah, like, both of them are uncontrolled landings. It's really nasty. So Teddy Long comes out and he's go on.
I'll just say Benoit was an old school wrestler. If the referee was like, Benoit, we'll have to stop this match, Benoit would have grabbed him and would have been like, I'm not stopping this match. I'm continuing this match, whether you like it or not.
Brian did the same. Brian did the same when he got injured. Kind of a similar bump. He got a bit of a stinger when he took a tope. And Triple H stopped the match, and they had like a massive shouting match backstage about it, because Brian was like, I've never had a referee stop the match before for me. Why did you do that? And just like freaking out about it in like a weird kind of way that you wouldn't really expect from him either. So yeah, wrestlers in their pride, man. It takes a lot out of them. So
you also have to look at the fact that Benoit was inspired by Tom Billington or Dynamite Kid.
Great role model to have.
Yeah, if your role model is Dynamite Kid or Chris Benoit, you might want to change your role models in terms of wrestlers to be like, unless you're David Benoit, then you can be like your father. Just don't be a dick like he was.
Yeah, exactly. Just be nice. That's all, really. Don't be an arsehole. But yeah,
and
Booker T's being
the diving headbutt. That will end your career.
The fact that people still do it today pisses me off. Just stop. There's no need for it, you know. But
I don't understand why they also do it in the lockdown pay-per-view. I do love after Benoit dies, everyone's like, you know what we need to do, mate? The crossface.
It's fair game. It's not just a WWE issue. It's a TNA issue as well. Yeah, as we said last week. Because of the order of this podcast. But yeah, literally, fair game. It's crazy, but
everyone was like, look, he's dead now. I can finally use the crossface.
Woo!
Let's go.
Yeah, baby. They've all been waiting for it. They were waiting for that time where they can use that crossface, that move. And so Booker T, getting back to Booker T finally, like Booker T is, he's bragging about screwing over Benoit. Teddy Longs comes here and says, you're going to defend your US title tonight against Chris Benoit. And so we get that match out of the way next. Benoit still taped his ribs after just 2 weeks after breaking them seemingly on the table. Benoit is just chopping Booker T all over the ring, all over the outside, suplexing. Benoit's got a great clothesline though. I'll give him that. And it's the way he kind of wraps his body around the neck of the other guy and like drops him. So Booker T then like goes after his ribs, obviously. Chin lock, Benoit gets to his feet, and then a couple of rolling Germans. Charmel distracts again, and Benoit's down and tries to go for the crossface. Booker gets to the ropes and then just walks away because screw Benoit, I ain't doing this. So yeah, this was just Benoit trying to get revenge on Booker T, beating him down, and then Booker realised that he was just to get Booker over as a heel, really. I mean, to be fair, like, I didn't think his promo was that good, Booker, before the match. And this match was fine. It was more of an angle, but still, you know, what did you think of this whole series of events?
I loved how Booker T called Chris Benoit just Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit. I'm like, oh yes, I love that.
I think we'll have some more TNA 2008 to see Booker T and his wacky accents too. So hopefully we can see a bit of that going forward. And this was him being heel again, and because he was kind of heel a little bit in 2004 as well. Booker T feels like he's not done anything for like 2 years in this company. It's weird. Like, can you really remember anything he did? Like, you remember 2003 against Triple H. You remember him winning the world title from Batista and being King Booker, but you don't really remember anything in the interim.
You don't.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. We recapped Taboo Tuesday and that wild Batista beating up Vader and Goldust and Coach. And if you thought that was wacky, our next matchup is Bob Orton Jr. versus Roddy Piper. Bob Orton looking like he's come to a steak dinner in the attire he's wearing, and Roddy Piper with his gut hanging out comes out, and yeah, they what is happening here?
Can I say, I understand Piper had his demons at this time. He had his demons his entire life. But I absolutely love Fat Piper.
I think it's because he's got that kind of... He looks more like, Always Sunny, the Maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking more and more like the Maniac in this one. Like, he's got the gut out and just that wild man look in his eyes. It's I like it.
This is post my favourite Piper promo. This is him after he says, Vince Russo, you killed Owen Hart.
Yeah, and then they hired him back. So, fair play. I mean, he got a job back in the end with WWE after, I think he went on like some sort of expose about drugs in the wrestling industry and eerily predicted he wouldn't make it past 65. And WWE were like, oh, you can't be talking about our company being bad, go away. But you can come back later, and he did. So, fair enough. I mean, shouldn't have fired him in the first place, but it is what it is. Piper is beating up Orton. Orton stomping away. There's nothing really to talk about in this match, but to be fair, both of them are pushing, 50, 60, something like that. So, not terrible match by any means in terms of that. So, can't fault it. It's old school. But then Randy Orton jumps Piper for a DQ. So, ends it quite early, mercifully, I guess. Then Orton basically beating up Piper, and no one trying to save Piper here, I guess. No friends in the back for Piper to save him. Gets RKO'd, and Randy Orton just beating down Piper, and so he's a legend killer. It's weird seeing Randy with his dad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know it's a massive part of the feud, but it just feels like him as the legend killer. Surely he would have. I felt like he would have RKO'd his dad at some point, but he never did.
The reason why Piper had no friends backstage, they were either dead or high off on drugs. So.
Well, that's a depressing end to this segment, but what did you think of it overall?
I absolutely love Bob Orton. Is it Bob Orton Sr. or Jr.?
It's Bob Orton Jr. Bob Orton Sr. is his dad.
Oh, I absolutely love Bob Orton Jr. Do you know the famous story of him in the Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker?
Where he's got hepatitis?
Yeah.
Bruh, wait, that's just that's horrible. That's a, I don't know, it's like giving someone, when, I don't know, anyway, just not disclosing that is disgusting, It's funny in hindsight because Undertaker's fine, alright? But,
yeah,
you'd be fuming.
Yeah, get your blood away.
Oh yeah, your hepatitis blood away from me.
Hepatitis blood from me. Get away from me now, you filthy old fecker.
Yeah, he's a filthy old fecker. The one person you don't. Anyway, that's why it's good the blood isn't as prevalent in wrestling. Is because of shit like that. It's horrible.
I mean, meanwhile, Moxley's just like, you know what I'm gonna do, Josh.
Like he's just taunting. He's taunting the likes of was it Nigel McGuinness who had a blood disorder?
I don't know.
Because of blading, or it might have been concussions or something. But I know he did. He's kind of talked about how blading shouldn't be as prevalent because of that. Like, I understand the appeal of when it's safely done. Like, at least people aren't. Well, Moxley's gushing, but apart from that, a lot of people aren't gushing as much as they used to. But it's still, still horrible.
Also, Flair's Flair bladed recently, and he's like 70 something.
How that man is clean of any diseases, sexual or otherwise, is mind-boggling to me, but it is what it is. Speaking of...
Do you know what? Can I just say that old man Flair looks like Jimmy Savile?
Bobby Lashley is up next against Nunzio and Vito. Lashley is fresh-faced here. He's green as grass, or green as goose shit, whatever you want to talk. He's being pushed here, and, you know, he's clearly green. That's what we'll say here. He basically bullies Nunzio and Vito, throws them around, and beats them up. What do you think of Lashley here?
Green as grass.
Yeah, like he's not quite there yet, to say the least. And he's never going to get there on the promos either, but, you know, whatever. How is he not good at promos in 2023, is my question. This is what I was talking about with Benoit. Like, sure, you can learn over that time.
Well, there was a difference. Benoit was too full of his ego, where Bobby Lashley wasn't. Like, if you went to Benoit, look, man, you need to work on your promos, Benoit would turn around and be like, shut up, I don't. Fuck you. Fuck your wife. Fuck your children. Don't tell me what to do. Or Bobby Lashley would be like, all right, mate, I will.
Because he's someone.
Snap, I guess.
Yeah, he's someone who didn't really have the charisma element. Like, I'm not lying. Bobby Lashley is fantastic, and I think when he had MVP as his mouthpiece, it was amazing. You know, and it's not. You don't have to not have. It's fine to not have mic skills. Like, it's fine to have a manager and do your work in the ring. You know what I mean? But it's just weird to me how you can be in the business for 20 years. I'm not saying I could do any better, don't get me wrong, you know, I'm terrible, but, like, you've been around so many people for so long, and you can't cut convincing promo, you know what I mean? It's a bit weird, you know?
Yeah.
That's not a knock on Lashley, by the way, I think he's great, I'm just saying, you know, just, like, I understand, yeah, anyway, I don't want to rag on Lashley, he's fantastic, he's fresh here. So Eric Bischoff comes to the arena, and then he meets the Boogeyman, okay, sweet, and then we get Teddy Long in the ring, and he's with Bischoff, and they're basically trading. It's kind of like a not shoot, but it's like, you know, a whole back and forth, because they're both the GMs of the separate brands, so it's SmackDown versus Raw, and they say, basically, we're going to have a match at Survivor Series, 5v5. Bischoff calls SmackDown the B show, and then Long says Bischoff's going to lose just like he did with WCW, and it's like, oh no. But they say that's not all. We're also going to have a match at Survivor Series, Eric Bischoff versus Teddy Long. Woo. That's going to be a banger of a match. Are you excited? Did this promo get you pumped for Raw vs SmackDown?
Yeah, I know.
No.
The fact he said this, because I can say it now because Eric Bischoff. The fact he said this makes me want to puke unicorns. Eric Bischoff on his podcast said that for All In, they should book Goldberg versus CM Punk, as it would draw the most money.
No.
He did say that, though, and I'm not making that up.
But, no, it wouldn't.
But according to him, it would, and I'm like, no wonder you killed WCW.
I wouldn't pay, like, I'm not going to lie, it'd be intriguing, but there's no way that would make the most money. At all.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think this card is even going to be that, it wouldn't even be that altered by particular matches. Maybe some, but like I think the people that are going to go there have already decided they're going to go, you know what I mean? I think they're not going to be swayed, something on this magnitude at least. That's my opinion. Anyway, I could be wrong.
Goldberg shows up and you're like, oh no, who's he going to squash? Oh no.
Squash
is like MJF.
Yeah, squash MJF, win the AEW title. I think I don't care what they do anymore. If anything, it's like you know, go balls to the wall, like catastrophic. We got Undertaker video package up next. could be coming back soon. Who knows? Oh, and then we get the meme. We're gonna get the meme at Survivor Series where he breaks out the casket and Randy Orton's petrified.
Throw Hellfire and Prince. Oh, I love this Undertaker. It's so weird because Undertaker has been in the business at this point for about 15 years. Yeah, 15 years.
At least in WWE for 15 years, yeah.
Yeah, he's been in WWE for 15 years. If we're saying pre-WWE, about 20, 25 years at this point. Because he spent about 10 years in the Indies and stuff. But we're going by WWE canon, so he's been there for 15 years. How he's not in his prime of his career yet is amazing to me.
In it, yeah. I mean, he's about to go into the best period of his career, though. In my opinion, I think the opinion of many others as well. You know, he's a peak Undertaker.
I do love, my favourite Undertaker is Biker Taker, of course. That's the one I associate with Undertaker. But I do love 05 Taker, 06, where he has the shorter hair and he's more menacing.
It's the fact that he's like the final boss. Not the final boss, but yeah. You know, trying to think of like a, you know, he's like the Hulk in a way, or he's the guy. If a bad guy's doing, but he's like a superhero, but like a dark superhero. I can't explain it. You know, he's the guy. Yeah, he's the anti-hero. He's the guy that he's so strong that he's like the comeuppance for a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like a bad guy, like Mr. Kennedy in a year, he's talking mess. That's when the Undertaker gets to him. You know. And I think he's great. I love it. Speaking of
that, the Undertaker absolutely chair shots Kennedy because Kennedy accidentally hits him with a stiff chair shot, and the Undertaker turns around and gives him his receipt.
Oh yeah! If anything, I think that Mr. Kennedy's head hit the chair because the fact that it bent the chair more so much, like just absolutely whacked him with it. And speaking of Mr. Kennedy,
can I just say that receipts in wrestling never work.
Brock Lesnar battering Braun Strowman in the face worked.
That worked, but like the other ones didn't. Like New Jack nearly killing a man because he botched a move. Taker stiffing wrestlers because they accidentally stiffed him. Like I can't think of any more, but maybe a Triple H one. I'm not too sure. But it never really works, except for when Brock Lesnar smashed Braun Strowman in the face.
Right in the side of the head. Yeah.
And Braun Strowman no-sold it.
I think he was just like, oh shit, that was bad. Yeah. There's a nasty chair shot as well. Kennedy gives Eddie Guerrero the week after as well. After the show.
Not many wrestlers give out receipts, but the wrestlers who did, it's something I don't like in wrestling. You accidentally stiff me, so you know what I'm going to do in return? Absolutely stiff you, and you're like, mate, I apologise sincerely. I didn't mean to full force punch you. Calm down, mate.
I think if they're a prick, though, you know, like a Braun Strowman, I imagine he's probably a dick.
If they're a prick, yes, I understand. But like, if it's like Mr. Kennedy, who I don't know if he's a prick in real life, but like when he accidentally stiffed Taker, he wasn't intentionally going, mate, you know, it'd be hilarious if I put the balls to the wall here and absolutely stiff the dead man.
Yeah, but I will say this. I know it's this is one of my more old school lines of thought. Like, if you're gonna be so unsafe to hit someone that hard or be that hard with someone, then you've got to, if you get that same energy back your way, then maybe it will make you a little bit more careful.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But it's just something I don't like in wrestling.
It's like the shit that Nia Jax got away with when she was wrestling like people, and she never really got a receipt for it. Well, she shouldn't. You know, she probably should have gotten a couple more receipts from people. If maybe it would make her learn to like take care of opponents and stuff. I know it's easy to rag on Nia Jax, but she's It's not very nice, so don't care.
Yeah, people who compare with the Nyla Rose, you can go fuck yourself.
Oh,
Nyla Rose is at least safe in the ring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my point. But anyway, so we get Mr. Kennedy and Scotty 2 Hotty up next, and it's just a squash. Scotty 2 Hotty's the man who managed to stick around in WWE for a very long time, so fair play to him. I actually really like Scotty 2 Hotty anyway. I think he's fantastic. But yeah, Kennedy beats him up and wins. So yeah, then he does his whole shtick on the microphone where he's like the best and woo, Mr. Kennedy. He's actually going to be injured very soon and be out for 6 months, so his push is stalled quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot to say, but your opinions on Mr. Kennedy, you're not that much of a fan of him, are you? I used to be.
I used to be a fan of Mr. Anderson. Not Mr. Kennedy, though. I don't know why. I think it's because there was a glass ceiling for him. That they were desperately trying to break for him, but never could. They were like, we are definitely going to push you. And then the rocket slowly started falling out of his ass. And they were like, yeah, how about that push? No.
Yeah, but it kind of falls on him partly, though, because well, not really. Well, the first time it was injuries, all right, fair enough. But then, like, to get busted for... But then again, everyone was on drugs back then, wasn't they? So, what can I say?
Most wrestlers were.
Yeah. Not
Triple H wasn't.
Oh yeah, of course. No, he was all natural, obviously. Yeah. So.
And Scott Steiner, of course, wasn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So.
And a lot of the TNA guys weren't on drugs, actually. Thinking of it, like your Styles, your Sabins, I don't know about Shelley, because he was so ripped. Your Nash probably was.
You're on the juice.
You're on the juice, is it Sanjay?
Sanjay, yeah.
You're on the juice. We need to do a bonus video on Kevin Nash versus Dr. Nash.
Dr. Nash, yeah. If Dr. Nash was here, there would be no problems with drugs. I'm telling you, he'd spot it a mile away. He's got a good eye for it. Yeah.
I wish Kurt Angle was on this episode so we could talk about Kurt Angle.
Mate, I am not a big fan of... No, I'm not quoting it again. I'll get clipped out again. Next
I'm not a big fan of the black people.
If I could go back in time and tap out one man, it would be Jesus.
Look, mate, I'm getting a Jesus Christ action figure. I am making this match happen in real life.
Okay. I'm sure that'd be tasteful.
What?
That would be tasteful.
I'm going to have Jesus come down on a cross. He's going to be the son of the Messiah. He's going to absolutely out-wrestle Kurt Angle until Angle locks in the ankle. Just giving out spots. WWE Tag Team titles on the line. Eminem defend against Eddie Guerrero and Batista. I'm surprised, like, in my head, Eddie Guerrero and Batista won the Tag Team Championships, but I'm getting them confused with Eddie and Ray and then Batista and Ray. Eminem defending... Melina's obviously being really annoying. I hate the screaming. That's the only thing I hate about Eminem, really. I mean, I know it's a big thing, but it's like that go-away heat, So Batista and Mercury, they get started. Nitro comes in. I just love the look of Mercury and Nitro. I can't explain it. It's not that I find them sexy or anything, but I will say they're chiseled. They've got that Hollywood look about them. I love the big fur coats and everything. I think it's the Hollywood douches is a good gimmick. So then we get Eddie and Mercury coming in, slingshots, and it's Eminem basically teaming up on the challengers, I guess you could say. Then Eddie grabs a chair and the referee catches him. So then we get a couple of amigos, but then Melina's on the apron and Eddie's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get her," and then we get this whole chase sequence, and Nitro gets a dive on to Eddie, and then was this the point where they were like, "You're gonna spank her," and they were getting all very testosterone driven, gross men. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Didn't like that about this match. But then Eddie manages to get the tag to Batista, cleans house. Eddie comes back in. Then Eddie's hitting the Three Amigos on Mercury. Melina comes in with brass knuckles. And Eddie frog splashes Melina, says, "Screw it, I'm just going to batter her." And then that's when Nitro gets to punch in to retain the Tag Team Championships. So, yeah, I mean, I quite enjoyed this match for the novelty of it.
but it wasn't the best main event ever, you know. But yeah, what did you think about this match?
I didn't mind this match, but when I was just looking at it, there was sadness in my eyes because I was like, "Oh, it's coming soon, isn't it?" That's all I could think about was, "Oh, it's coming soon, isn't it?"
His last tag team match it was in, yeah. So the week after he faced Mr. Kennedy in his last match.
Tag team match.
Yeah. So 2 weeks time, it's the tribute show as well. So you got to have that in your mind as well. It's like, yeah, it's not great to watch. The kind of tail end because it's the anticipation, isn't it? Really, which is always bad. Like you kind of clouds your judgment a little bit, but it's still nice to see Eddie coming out in the lowrider for the last couple of shows he was on, even if they were like angling for Eddie to eventually turn heel again. Like it's still nice to see him as a face on the way out. Like
it is. It's just sad to think about because you're like, oh, it's coming, isn't it? And then you're going to get depressed Benoit who's checked out of wrestling.
Yeah.
And then eventually another scandal's going to hit wrestling and you're like, oh, fuck. Why is it depressing?
Yeah, it's not fun outside of that, but yeah, I like this show a lot, and it's purely nostalgic reasons. Like SmackDown 2005 to 2008, I could watch all day because I used to watch it every Saturday morning. So this just...
What did you watch it on? Sky Sports or Sky One?
I watched it on Sky Sports when you'd have the late... They used to show SmackDown in the UK before they showed it in the US as well, fun fact. Because of the time difference. They used to show the taped SmackDown at like 9 PM on the Friday, which would be before the US got to see the show.
Yep.
But I used to watch it at 10 AM on Sky Sports when, you know, I don't know if you ever watched it on Sky Sports where they'd like, if there was a chair shot or like a weapon shot, they would like freeze frame it or they'd cut to the crowd. So you wouldn't see any of the good stuff, but you'd still see most of it. So yeah, that's what that used to be my thing. But that nostalgia is why I enjoyed this show. I mean, there was still some interesting matches on here. Like it's not like the worst show you've ever seen. It's kind of inconsequential though. What did you think?
Sorry,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just going to go to the bathroom badly. I drank too much Lucasade.
Oh no. Well, I'll. Can I finish quickly? Did you like the show?
I didn't mind this show. It was a good show. It's just sad because all I could think about was Eddie's dying soon. I know that's depressing, but that's all I could think about. The matches were okay. The best match was Piper versus Orton.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I can't disagree with that. You may go now, and I will outro this by saying that yeah, it was a fine show. I think it was a very good time capsule of 2005. And speaking of 2005, next week it's going to be going to TNA. And I'm going to have to find my notes because Piggy's not here to tell me what the next episode is going to be. So it looks as if, yep, that's what I thought. It's going to be, Turning Point 2005, Christian Cage's first match in TNA, I believe. So that'll be next week. And so Christian's involvement on this show, interesting to see his last WWE appearance and kind of seeing that morph into what he'd become in TNA. And we're going to find that out next week with Turning Point. So join us then for that show, which is only a month after this one. And in fact, even probably less than a month, something like that. So we'll be looking forward to that. For Piggy and myself, it's been fun watching this flashback to Hollywood. I could CGI Piggy in for this last intro, but they'd just say something about they could do their bad Triple H impression from 2 weeks ago, but instead we're going to go for a big nice thank you for watching and listening, and we'll catch you next week for Turning Point 2005.